All right. What is poppin'? Get this lighting right. We're gonna get it right. What's going on, guys? We're back after the holidays. Wow. It's been wild, you know. Just feels like I haven't streamed in like a million years. I thought about it. I was like considering getting having a different camera angle for once. I might actually try that out live on stream, because I feel like changing things up a little bit, because I feel like you're gonna see like past my green screen and stuff like that. I feel like I get complacent in a way. I don't know. I feel like I get complacent in a way, like I don't change anything for a long period of time. Maybe I'll change my camera angle at some point. I was like trying to find places on my desk to put it, but there's really not like any place to put it that makes sense. But I might be able to do something like the middle of my screens or whatever. That might be like more ideal or whatever. But anyway, I basically wanted to hop on and mess around with some modern brews, or not modern. What am I saying? We're trying to make modern style decks, but yeah, as you can see, like this is just hammer time. I was kind of messing around with decks that like could be Pioneer decks, but are just primarily what you see in modern. And this is like one of the first decks that sort of came to mind. I was just going through my old Pioneer lists, and I miss brewing in Pioneer. Honestly, it's a really fun format to brew in. I actually asked some of my social media pages, what the best format for brewing was, and I think the majority of responses, I only got like one response on Twitter, but like overall the responses were mostly like Pioneer. I just think that modern is a little too hard to brew in. It's like the metagame is pretty much solved in modern. It's pretty impossible to like make anything better than what's already out there. So right now I'm just kind of messing around with like what I feel like could be like a decent Pioneer deck. Now, the decks that you mainly see, like Blue, White, and Soul, are simply like, they're not playing Colossus Hammer, right? But recently somebody actually 5-0'd a league with Thieving Skydiver in their deck, and I thought that was very interesting. This, of course, was in modern. I thought that was very interesting. I thought that the combo, so to speak, with Thieving Skydiver, like entering and being able to steal your Colossus Hammer, was a really cool one that I don't feel like had been really explored. And I think it caught a lot of people off guard, like that type of tech, because like obviously you can steal your opponent's Colossus Hammer in modern, but in Pioneer, there's not a whole lot of ways to cheat your Colossus Hammer onto your creature. And I feel like that's like a really good way of doing it. And it also has like other synergies as well, or just like being a good card, I guess, is one of the big things that I feel like it's possibly like overlooked with that one. So right now I'm just like kind of messing around with mana base. So I'm doing what is called templating. If you ever brew decks or you ever make decks, this is a very good way to like, if you're unsure of like what the mana base should look like, for example, which I would argue is like probably one of the hardest things, then you can always do what's called templating, where you just go in and sort of copy the mana base of another deck, and you sort of make some adjustments here and there if needed, but looks like for the most part there shouldn't really need to be too many adjustments. I think what I'm going to do is just go for I think I'm going to copy like the blue, white, and soul lists, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. It looks like they mostly play the same type of mana base. All of them anyway. They play 21 lands, which seems about right. They play Mutavault, which is a fine artifact, and also a card that we can technically equip with Colossus Hammer, although like it's not really going to work in this deck. I might actually end up changing that to just like plains. But I don't know. I mean, Mutavault can technically win. Like if you queue up a Mutavault and then you like Sigarda's Aid on in play, attach a Colossus Hammer to it, it can win you the game. But probably not our ideal game-winning scenario, right? Let's see. So this is, where's the blue-white hammer? This is the blue-white hammer list. Okay, so that's in modern. I don't think I'm ever really interested in treasure vaulting. I think if I'm at that stage of the game, then I'm just losing, if I'm being honest. A lot of people are playing, what is it? Of course, I'm going to get a million results for mana. Why did I type that? Mana, or it's mana, the Mana Confluence? Yeah, Mana Confluence. Which I think is fine. Yeah, I think this is a fine mana base. And then, so this is like a direct copy of like the blue, white, and soul decks. But like, obviously our angle is instead of and soul artifacts and stuff, we're just trying to get a Colossus Hammer, which may end up making me play like Glint Nest Crane, because like the thing about it, Colossus Hammer in Pioneer is that you don't really have any ways to find Colossus Hammer like you do in Modern, where you can simply play Stoneforge Mystic, which is just a good card in general, and you also have Urza Saga. So you have essentially 8 ways to go and find a Colossus Hammer in that format, whereas in this one, there's one card, there's one of the new, it's one of the new classes, right? You have one way of basically going to find it outside of like bad cards. It's fighter class. When it enters the battlefield, you search a library for an equipment card, you reveal it, and you put it into your hand, then shuffle. Right? Now this card is okay. I mean, it's essentially like Stoneforge Mystic in a way. Obviously, the level 2 and 3 don't really help us at all. So you're better off playing the sorcery. There's a sorcery that you can go and search your library for an equipment card and put it into your hand, and you're better off just playing that, in all honesty. Now this deck does need like some removal. I think Portable Hole is sufficient. You see that a lot in the other Artifacts Matters decks. So I think Portable Hole is sufficient there. And then, so they play 16 creatures. Currently we're playing 20. Now I could see cutting the Toolcraft Exemplar. It's not really that important. It is a good attacker, and it is something that can essentially win the game on its own, so to speak. But yeah, there's let's see, there's the Black Staff of Waterdeep. You can animate it. Choose another non-token artifact you control. It becomes a 4/4 artifact creature for as long as it remains tapped. So the Black Staff of Waterdeep is pretty decent. Now what I want to do is I want to stay clear of, you know, what Affinity or should I say Insoul Artifact is already doing in Pioneer, because clearly, like, we're playing this deck for a reason, right? We're playing it because theoretically Colossus Hammer is better than Blue, White, and Soul. Now that's probably not the case, but I'm definitely still gonna give it the old college try, right? So looking at the deck and I'm kind of bouncing in between the modern deck that I'm looking at and this. We can't play Esper Sentinel, so we don't have a way to really draw us cards because Esper Sentinel is not legal in Pioneer. So we don't have that, and we don't have Memnite, which is fine. Not all the decks play Memnite. So in my mind, Toolcraft Exemplar was an okay substitute for Esper Sentinel. There are some other artifacts, matters, dudes you can play. There really isn't much. There's like not affinity for artifacts or anything like that. You don't have Pure Steel Paladin. Can't do that. I don't think anyway, right? I don't think you have Pure Steel Paladin. Yeah, you don't have Pure Steel Paladin. You can't do that. There is SRAM. But SRAM, yeah. SRAM doesn't quite work out because, I mean, we're not playing a ton of equipments. Certainly not playing many auras outside of, I mean, I guess that's not an aura, that's just an enchantment. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't quite work out. But yeah. Let's see. There is a Whir of Invention. You know, which is it's you know, it's a thing. A little expensive. I don't think we can play it, but it's consideration. You know, for essentially 3 mana, we can go and put, you know, Colossus Hammer into play, or Shadow Spear if we need to. Shadow Spear is pretty important. It allows, you know, these guys to get trample essentially. Although it would be hard to remove a creature with Colossus Hammer attached to it. So, you know, we'll see. But this is, you know, this is just a prototype. This is not something that we're gonna like come out the gate. There's Stone Coil Serpent, which is interesting. It does have protection from multicolored, which, you know, is worse than monocolored. Protection from monocolored. But you know, let's see. There's Glint Crane. This card was really cool too. Glint Crane, which, you know, would allow us to find Colossus Hammer essentially. But I don't want to go too far into that. I think that Ingenious Smith is fine. Other than that, what we have room for 2 more cards. So, I'm seeing like the Black Staff of Waterdeep. I'm seeing like Ensoul Artifact, all that glitters. You know, those are possibilities. We could play. Unfortunately, cranial plating is not legal. I would not necessarily like to play too many more creatures, although I will say that Stone Coil Serpent is pretty decent. The fact that it has trample is pretty huge, so that might actually be better than like Gingerbrute, for example. So what I'm gonna do is cut our Gingerbrutes down to 1, I think. Yeah, I might even just cut them all, you know what I mean? Because basically, like, a Stone Coil Serpent with a Colossus Hammer is going to be hard to beat. I need 4 of those because that's trample, right? And that's a big deal. And there's also a turn 1 play. Other things to add, I mean, trying to think here, we could play like a copy of like Stubborn Denial. Stubborn Denial in the main, I think, is decent. Trying to think of like other cards. Yeah, stubby D or something like that in the main could be pretty decent. Just as like a one of. What if we just cut the other Ginger Brute? Run like a second Stubborn Denial. Nah, I like the Ginger Brute. You can make an unblockable too, essentially, which is pretty decent. Alright, let's see what our hands look like with this deck. Let's see how bad they are. Would we keep this? Probably. It has our combo in it. Let's see. Draw another hand. They sure do make it look good, right? It could be good. If you start every game with Cigar to Zade and Colossus Hammer in your hand, you should be fine. Yeah, like this. I mean, every hand I've had ways to equip Colossus Hammer. Let's give it a shot. Oh, hold on. We got to make a sideboard. I suppose I should probably do that. But every hand had a way to equip Colossus Hammer, which was pretty funny. I don't know how much better that is than in Soul. It's probably not, to be completely honest. But who knows, you know? Let's see. So, looking at other in Soul sideboard guide. I'm basically basing a lot of this off of in Soul because it's the other artifact deck that's like pretty close to this. But I have to keep in mind that we are not playing in Soul artifacts. We're playing Hammer Time, so it's a little bit different. So looking at the modern Hammer Time deck that 5-0'd recently, we have some counter magic in the sideboard, which is, you know, always nice to play. So we can run like another Stubborn Denial in the sideboard. I don't hate that. Stubborn Denial, boom. We know that our opponents are probably going to bring in like some removal, so we probably want to give something that gives our creatures like protection. I like Brave the Elements because it can also make our creature unblockable. Things like, well, God's Willing is just better, right? From chosen color and you scry one. We could play like a couple of copies of God's Willing. Or we could just play more Stubborn Denial. I kind of like the stubby D's more. Like Stubborn Denials. Let's see. Got like Grafdigger's Cage. Which is probably just gonna be like a 2 or a 3 of, although Scrabbling Clues. I like that too. Let's see. I didn't realize this was a reprint. Yeah, let's play like a couple of those. We can play... I see a Light of Hope that seems decent. This is basically going to look like a lot of other Insult Artifact sideboard guide or sideboard decks. There's Deafening Silence, which I'm assuming is just a concession to like the combo decks in the format, like Deafening Silence. I like Curse of Silence too, although I don't think that one's quite as good. It's good with Luris, but yeah. Run a couple deafening silences in there. Fateful Absence seems to be one that comes up quite a bit. You've got Wear and Tears, although we don't have the red. But neither do they. Couple of Wear and Tears in there, and it looks like Hushbringer is also a card that people play. Although Hushbringer does mess with our Thieving Skydiver, so maybe that's not where we want to be. Yeah, you're probably not. Probably not going to run any Nombos in my deck today. Let's see. What's a card like Hushbringer? What is Hushbringer there to stop? That's a good question. Hushbringer is probably there to stop Winota, I'm assuming. We could just run like Essence Capture or something. I mean, we should be beating Winota. Like we're faster than they are. Right. Yeah, I'm assuming it's there to stop Winota. Dress Down is from Modern Horizons 2, right? Yeah, it is. So we can't play Dress Down. Me trying to play like all the good cards. A good card against Winota. Return target creature. Maybe we just play... Well, Teferi kind of fucks with our Lurrus, so we can't do that. And we can't do Brazen Bar either. Ojutai's command is cool. Could just play like Curse of Silence. It holds them off of Winota long enough to like make it to where we can win the game. And then what if we played like another 2 like removal spells or something? What's like good white or blue removal in Pioneer? We don't have there's no like instant speed removal. I mean, other than this, which I guess kind of works. Yeah, just looking at the other decks in the format, just to see like kind of like where they're at as far as their sideboards are concerned. See a lot of black sideboard cards. See a lot of Deafening Silence. So I think we're pretty close. Let's just do like a couple of random cards. I think I'm just gonna go like up to a full set of Stubborn Denial or something. A couple of more Stubborn Denials. There's also Inventor's Fair, which is cool. But I think it's just too mana intensive. You have to pay 4 for it. And it only puts it in your hand, which is, you know, a pretty big deal. Is there like a grindy, like artifact card, like as an alternate win con or something like that? Is that something that like is available to us? Because if that's the case, then I would like to go that route, if possible, like something in the sideboard that's just going to catch people off guard. The problem is it has to be like relatively cheap. There's Aether Gust, which is pretty cool. I like Aether Gust. Might be overkill. Okay. We'll just roll with that and see how it goes. And then I've got another deck that I want to try out, but this will be the first one that we do on the docket today. And then once we come to the conclusion that this deck is just a worse version of Blue, White, and Soul, then I will move on to my next choice, and we'll go from there. I have a Taking Turns deck that I want to try out. Keep in mind, I have not played Pioneer in so long that I do think it may be a bit of a challenge, but we'll play it by ear. I was considering what the merits of playing Darksteel Citadel are. I think the biggest merit is Ingenious Smith, in all honesty. If it weren't for Ingenious Smith, I don't think I would play it. Could also see cutting like the Stubborn Denial. And like the Ginger Brute. And like 2 more cards and playing Ensoul Artifact, just because that's such a powerful combo. But we'll see. I don't know if it's totally worth it or not. Because again, we aren't Ensoul Artifact, you know what I mean? That's one of the big things. Like, we're not Ensoul Artifact, so you know, we do have to keep in mind that like we're a combo deck, and that's what we're gonna try to do. We're looking for like one big swing. What's up, Eric? How's it going? We're brewing some Pioneer decks because I haven't played Pioneer in like a hot minute. So I wanted to just mess around with like some different brews that I had on my mind. So I've got this one that we're gonna play test a little bit, and then if it doesn't seem like it's like any good or whatever the case is, I want to try. So I've got a mill deck that I was working on that I actually don't think is viable. But I do want to try this one out, which I think is just going to be like a much better bang for our buck. Like this one, I don't need to play test. We don't need to do solo queues. Like basically, like you haven't played Pioneer. It's pretty fun actually. Pioneer is much less unforgiving than Modern is, and also Pioneer is like kind of like a brewer's playground. But yeah, if our Insole artifact deck doesn't, well, I keep saying Insole. If our Hammer Time deck doesn't work out, then we'll just play this. I've always wanted to break Karn's Temporal Sundering in Pioneer. It's a card that nobody talks about. It does exile itself, so keep that in mind. But taking extra turns in Pioneer is pretty huge, especially if we have like Fires of Invention to cast multiple spells. And also we have a part the Water Veil on our sideboard too. Yeah, it is an easy go-to. And the cool thing about Karn's Temporal Sundering is the bounce effect is not irrelevant, right? Like you can actually bounce your Fires of Invention, and you can cast more spells.
Look at the sweet prize I won.
Percy with the sub. What up, dude? Appreciate it, my man. Percy is the hugest supporter of the stream by far. Always appreciated. Yeah, I think Fires of Invention is an easy go-to card for Pioneer, honestly. Because it just allows you to do so much, especially when you're talking about in terms of, you know, casting like Planeswalkers. Because like being able to cast 2 Planeswalkers in one turn on turn 5 is busted. Maybe even as early as turn 4 if we get like an Arboreal Grazer or a Growth Spiral. It's busted. Okay, so wait, what did we not get? They didn't give me Mana Confluence, man. Those fucking scrubs, dude. We don't necessarily need Mana Confluence, do we? Go for another. I don't feel like waiting on a Mana Confluence. I'm too fucking impatient. Watch it bite me in the ass. I'll tell you what. The this Plains right here will be our Mana Confluence. And if we miss Mana Confluence, then we'll add it. So when we see that Plains, we know that could be a Mana Confluence. That'll be like our little test, if it ever comes up. So we play this. If it feels like really strong, we'll play another match with it. And if it feels really strong again, then we'll play a league with it. If it seems like you know, hot medium, then we'll play the Fires of Invention Yorion deck. The other cool thing about Fires of Invention that people don't really realize is that when you play Yorion Fires, and this is one thing that I always, you know, always kept me coming back to Fires of Invention as a card, is the fact that if you play Yorion, you can put Yorion in your hand and play it in the same turn. And then you can play like another spell because you can exile your own Fires of Invention. Now you're gonna be down 3 mana, but the fact that you can do that all in one turn, or previous turn, right? You put it in your hand, and then the following turn you can go spell number 1, and then cast Yorion, exile your shit or whatever, and then cast 1 or 2 more spells, right? So very powerful interactions with Yorion. It's clearly just a very good card. Depending on how long this takes, I don't know how much Pioneer pops off on Magic Online, but if this doesn't go off in a timely manner, then we'll just play the Taking Turns deck through a league, I think. But yeah, seems good though. I don't think it's better than the modern version, obviously. That would be a huge claim. But seems good nonetheless. I could see playing like white-black. White-black hammer time. But the problem with white-black is we don't get the Merfolk to cast and put it into our hand. And I think Thieving Skydiver is part of the reason why I wanted to even try this deck in the first place. Because being able to basically cast this for 3 mana and gain control of our own Colossus Hammer and equip it is like pretty huge. But again, you know, this deck is pretty contingent on our opponent not having any removal for our creatures. Because if we don't have Cigar to Zaid out, or I should say this, like, if our opponent does manage to kill our creature that has Colossus Hammer equipped to it, then we're gonna have a hard time getting the Colossus Hammer back onto a creature, basically, is what I'm getting at, you know. There are some spells that you can play. I don't think Retract is legal in Pioneer, is it? It's not. So like the other spell would be there's a 4 mana spell that does it. Oh, sorry, actually, maybe Retract is legal. It probably isn't. Metallurgic Summonings is a cool card. There's like a few cards that allow you to return artifacts to your hand. I'm trying to find the 4 mana one that draws you a card. Let's see. Tract. Nope. No. There's a 4 mana card that allows you to return like any number of artifacts, and you draw cards for it. Paradoxical outcome. Paradoxical. Turn any number of target non-land, non-token permanents you control their owner's hands. Draw a card for each card returned this way. So you would just basically like return, you know, the Colossus Hammer or hammers, depending, back to your hand. Draw cards for it, and or alternatively, you could also return Thieving Skydiver to your hand, draw a bunch of cards, and then replay it again. If your opponent managed to kill the creature that had a Colossus Hammer attached to it, you know what I'm saying? Well, this is pretty unfortunate. We're not getting a Q. I am in Q right now. We're not getting a Q pop, so I may have to abandon this deck for now. I don't necessarily want to play it through a league yet. I don't think it's quite ready for that. But who knows? Paradoxical Outcome is a cool card. It's a really cool card. Surprised it doesn't see more play, actually. Yeah, the other deck that I really was enjoying building was Mill. I don't think it's good. Ruin Crab is like not good in Pioneer. This card is laughably bad. You basically are just banking on getting Drowned Secrets or Fraying Sanity into play. Once upon a time, there was a Turbo Fog deck with Sphinx's Tutelage. I don't think that's how Magic spells Sphinx. Yeah, I played Sphinx's Tutelage, and it's basically Turbo Fog. But I don't think that's like really viable. But yeah, you would basically just draw a bunch of cards. You just mill the shit out of them. I think Fraying Sanity is probably just better, but Sphinx's Tutelage is better in a deck that doesn't really mill people to begin with. Like decks that just function normally without mill properties. But who knows? Alright, so we have not popped a Q yet. We're still waiting. I'll give it a little bit longer. If it doesn't seem like we're gonna get the Q, then maybe I will just could queue for a Pioneer League. I don't really want to do that with this deck. Especially because this deck could be very bad. But I don't know. I mean, maybe not, you know. Maybe it's good. The other decks in the format, like what's the popular decks in the metagame? The popular decks in the metagame is like blue-red, Arclight Phoenix, which Thing in the Ice is pretty good against what we're doing. That's like the most popular deck in the format. There's Black-White Vampires, and they also have like Fatal Push and shit. There's Naya Winota, which ironically I feel like we would have a pretty good matchup against because they're not really interacting with us. Interesting how the number one Omnath deck in the format is Jeskai Ascendancy. I would not have really seen that coming, but I guess if that's what people play. It's also very interesting that Jund Food is like a tier 1 strategy in the format. Kind of interesting and wild all in the same time. Because when you go down the list, like when you think about like all the most broken decks that were ever a deck in Standard, and you think Jund, no one really thinks like Jund Food, right? Like that deck was very good. Don't get me wrong. Like it, you know, especially before that, like with Oko, you know, obviously it wasn't Jund back then, but you guys kind of get the idea. Like it was pretty good, and that being said, it wasn't the best deck ever. You know, a lot of people think Cawblade was supposed to be like the best deck ever in Standard. It wasn't. It was probably Affinity back in Mirrodin. Of course, that created a storm of bans. But, you know, the next best deck, I would have to say... The next best deck after Affinity and like Mirrodin block was like not Eldrazi because that was in Modern. Speaking just strictly in Standard, in a vacuum, what was the next best deck? I don't know. It's tough to say, honestly. There was a lot of good Standard decks throughout the history of Magic, but I just know Affinity was the best one. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now. Alright, let's drop out of this league. Oh god, my dog's going nuts. Or, sorry, not the league. Let's drop out of this event. And save that one for a later date. Mana Traders, full trade list. One thing I like about Pioneer is it's cheap, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to even have like above like a gold subscription probably. I mean, depending on what deck you're playing. Alright, so the other deck... I do have some cool decks that, like, I always wanted to be good, but, like, they never quite made it. Like, I love the interaction with Wasteland Strangler and Brain Maggot. I just love that. But yeah, taking turns. We'll just roll with this. Export. Trade. Oh, nope, that's not what I want to do. Load. Taking turns with fires. Now I did some sampling with this deck and it seemed very good. At least like from the hands that I saw. Now that being said, you really never know until you like actually play a deck, like how it's gonna line up with a metagame. So I don't keep my hopes too high. Cause it could very easily be bad. It's interesting that there is, you know, like, Pioneer is still so open. Like, the decks just seem, some of the decks just seem so underpowered, but they're still, like, big parts of the metagame. You know, you got Angel's Company, you've got, just mono red burn, which looks like not great. You got mono blue spirits, which is very interesting. And just, you know, like anything in between, you know, Bring the Light with Niv Mizzet. Obviously very high value. But these decks aren't really like breaking the meta or anything like that. It's not surprising to see Arclight Phoenix like as the best deck in the format, essentially. Temporal Trespass is pretty decent. I don't know. I would love to see, like, I see black-red mid-range as a deck. It's essentially black-red. Well, I guess it isn't black-red vampires, but there are some good decks in the format, clearly. But there's also, like, all these cards that just, like, will randomly pop into my head, and I'll be like, why doesn't that see any play? You know what I mean? Like random ass cards. Alright, I don't think I think this is everything. Yeah, perhaps we should be playing more Urza's Ruinous Blast. I kind of think of it like kind of as a like an oh shit card. Like we're gonna lose if we don't play this. Why didn't we get to Fairy Time Ravelers? That's weird. I thought that was a little, we were coming off a little cheap there. Okay, there we go. That adds 150 tickets to our transaction. Oh wait, we did get it. They just didn't give it to me. Well, they didn't give me Teferi Time Raffler, so now I gotta wait. Unfortunately. But yeah, this deck used to play Uro. I used to have Uro in this deck. But obviously, that card's banned, so we can't play that. Somehow Mana Traders is loading even though they've given me all the cards that they said they owed me. But I will request a trade with them again and see if they have the cards. Not like I'm asking for an obscure cards or anything like that. Okay, what the hell, man? Mana service 21. God, I love Moda. I am gonna make a video. I want to make a video this weekend, but we'll see how I'm feeling. You know, sometimes it's hard to like fit in videos and stuff like that to my week. But I do want to make a video about Daybreak Games acquiring Magic Online, because I have a long history with Daybreak Games. And when I saw that fucking announcement that Wizards of the Coast had, I was like shell shocked when I saw that they were fucking partnering with Daybreak Games, because I have so much to say about Daybreak Games that it almost seemed like, for a moment, you ever have something happen and you're like, I am living in a simulation, you know what I mean? That was like a moment where I genuinely felt like I was living in a simulation. Okay, what we're gonna have to do, guys, is we're gonna have to trade this. We're gonna have to trade this back and then get the cards again, because for some reason they didn't give me Teferis and they won't give it to me. So I'm gonna have to do this again. Oh, they did. What's going on here? Yo, what? I'm just gonna reset. Is Teferi banned in Pioneer? Am I such a boomer that I didn't know that Teferi was banned in Pioneer? He is. He's banned. Oh no. I didn't know that. Oh my god. Well, that changes things a little bit. Okay. I was wondering why these decks aren't playing him. I was like, there's no way this card doesn't deserve to see play. Holy shit. That's huge. So no more Teferi. We could play... No, I mean, like, in that case, that changes things for this deck. So obviously we need to play more 3-drops. I mean, like, we could account on Growth Spiral and Arboreal Grazer getting us there, but like, I could see playing like another Deafening Clarion, maybe like a couple more Gideons. That is fucking wild, dude. Did not know. I did not know that 3-mana Teferi was banned in Pioneer. I guess I'm kind of glad though, right? No wonder why so many people are playing Narset. Let's see, playing like a couple of copies of Censor. Maybe a couple of Shark Typhoons or something. Although I don't want to play Counter Magic in my Fires of Invention deck, really. So let's do like another Deafening Clarion. So let's see. Deafening Clarion. We'll do like another one of those. Let's go 2 of those actually. Let's go Gideon of the Trials. And then it's 2. Trying to think of like another card to play. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just play 3. Gideon of the Trials. There are some spells that like allow you to take an extra turn and like you like lose the game or whatever. They're like the red-white spells or whatever. It could be potentially good in a deck like this. You would play it with Gideon, and that would kind of be like a 2-card combo. Like Chance for Glory. So you play this with Gideon essentially, and you take an extra turn, and you don't end up losing the game because you would basically ultimate Gideon the turn it came down or whatever. It could possibly be good. There's also Alchemist Gambit, which is good because you could play it either way, you know? Okay, so Gideon, Clarion, and yeah, let's just join the league. Probably end up losing, but that's okay. That's why we brew. I don't ever go in with the expectations that like our brew is gonna absolutely like demolish the competition or anything like that. But you know, it's like one of those things where you gotta play it, you gotta test it, you gotta see if it's good, and it's a process. You work out the issues with the decks and yeah, see if there's any merits to playing them. But I've always liked Fires of Invention and Pioneer. I think it's a good card, especially with the Wish sideboards, especially with Yorion. You know, we're missing blue in this hand. We are on the play. I believe we are. No, they're on the play. Okay. Merits of keeping this hand. I mean, it has almost everything I need. But I'm gonna mulligan it. This is a little bit better. I'll keep this one, and we'll send the Grazer back, I think. Actually, let's send Fae of Wishes back. The Grazer could be good if we get a green source. Looks like they're gonna play in the blue-red deck. Play this and pass. Yep. So like they're playing like the agreed upon best deck in the format, which is I believe they're playing blue-red Phoenix. Let's see. Keep in mind I haven't played Pioneer in so long that like I actually need to brush up on like what decks are what. I think we put that one in the graveyard. Then play this and then pass. And next turn we can have a Narset or a Gideon. Okay. Opponent is just shocking and passing, making me think that they have a counter spell. So we'll just play Castle Vantress and pass, honestly. I don't see any reason to play into potential counter spell like a Mana Leak or anything like that, or a Censor. Yep, they had Censor, so good. Played around cards that I haven't played Pioneer in so long, so the fact that I'm actually able to play around cards at this juncture of the game is good. Yep. I'm assuming a Phoenix is going to be discarded this turn, but who knows? Treasure. Okay. Let's go bottom and then top. I could play Growth Spiral this turn and then play Search for Azcanta. Basically, what I'm looking for is Fires of Invention. We'll do the Growth Spiral first. See if we actually draw a land. We did not. Now we'll just play Search for Azcanta. It might get countered. But we played Growth Spiral first in case we drew a land, because if I drew a land, then I was just going to go ahead and cast like Narset that turn. But next turn, depending on what we draw, that's fine. We can play Gideon of the Trials this next turn and just plus up on that and prevent all the damage from it. So we play this, we go here, here, here. Plus up on that, then pass the turn back. Maybe we should have played Arboreal Grazer just as a blocker, but we'll see how it all plays out. Does feel bad not to be able to get that Narset down early. I feel like that really is going to be a hindrance to them if I can manage to get the Narset down. Definite Clarion would be nice if it would actually kill them, but let's see. Alright. Okay, so we found Fires of Invention. We can plus on one of these. And pass the turn back. They have a counterspell, like another counterspell in their hand. They're obviously going to save it for Fires of Invention. There would be no reason not to. So we do have to find an answer to both of these quick. I would imagine what my opponent's going to do is kill Gideon, but they do have to have a choice here. Yeah. They're just going to attack me. Okay. I feel like... Oh, okay. That makes sense. I was going to say, I feel like that was a mistake unless they have, like, some kind of follow-up to that. Okay, so we bring in the Mystical Disputes. It's pretty much the only card I really like sideboard. And we just take out the Deafening Clarions. If they are playing Phoenix, I could see bringing in the Magma Sprays. And then we would just cut something. Maybe cut like Tameo and something else. We don't necessarily need Chase, Wilder, and Mysteries, so we'll cut that too. Because in this version of the deck, we can win with we can just win with Fires of Invention plus like fairies. Let's just go ahead and play that. When I say fairies, I mean Fae of Wishes, sorry. Specific. That was kind of an awkward game too. Didn't quite get the cards down in a sequence that I had hoped. I would have liked to have gotten the Narset down a lot earlier in that matchup. Let's see. Would have been good on turn 1. I'm just gonna pass here. Go bottom, and I don't necessarily like keeping this on top, but it is a relevant spell. And we do have to have a card out for Karn's Temporal Sundering. Let's go here, play the Beast, and put a Triome and pass. The bad thing about Karn's Temporal Sundering is you do have to have a legendary into play, so it's not going to be like as easy to cast as let's say like Nexus of Fate, but you know, the bounce effect is very relevant, and we have plenty of legendary planeswalkers to keep it active, you know. So our opponent's shocked. Means they probably have a counter spell here. Don't necessarily want to play my Teferi into their counter spell, especially when I have double magma spray. So like, what if we just put actually here. Let's go Plains. Go Forest. Put Yorion in my hand. And then pass with mana up. And then if they tap to cast stuff, which they did not, we could have magma sprayed in response. See what they do here. It's a bit of an awkward match. It's been like, I don't know, I've definitely had opportunities here. Feel like some of this is gonna get countered, but we'll see. If they do counter this and they don't have like counter magic for the Teferi, then we'll be in pretty good shape, I think. I think we have to draw a land though to play around another sensor. We did not. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to play around the other sensor. Mystical Dispute. Okay. Interesting. All right, so they hit me for 9. I mean, this is as good a time as any to cast a Yorion. Right? And then we have to basically face like 2, 4, 5, 12 damage. 13 technically. I mean, we lose to a whatever that card is. That's basically like a fling, but we don't really have an opportunity to play around that anyway. They only have 3 cards in hand, so I do have to keep this Yorion in play. I guess we'd like double bottom those, right? Because we need an untapped land. Yikes. Oof. Yeah, that's just game. Just had the answer at the ready. Alright. That was an awkward game. I definitely think we showed like it showed promise, but missing on land drops coupled with like just having like kind of clunky draws, definitely showing that the deck needs like a little bit of refining, and is showing why a deck like my previous Fires of Invention deck was a little bit better, I guess, in that regard, because we're not relying on Karn's Temporal Sundering in that deck. Like the Fire Super Friends deck that I was playing, which obviously we can't play Teferi Time Raveler anymore, was something like this, and I really liked this deck. Now obviously we could play I don't think Oath of Teferi is necessarily good anymore. You know, this is a very, very early rendition of this deck, but I love the addition of like Heart of Kirin and stuff like that. I think that could be very good. All in all, we'll see. We'll see how this one goes. I'm not ready to give up on this one yet. I don't think Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, belongs in the deck. You know, previously when I was playing this this Karn's Temporal Sundering deck, Jace, Wielder of Mysteries was my win con, but now that we have Fires of Invention and Fae of Wishes, like, I don't think it's necessary anymore. I will say, though, kind of refreshing to play something other than Modern. Okay, we'll shock that in and then pass. Okay, so this looks like, well, I don't know what it looks like in all honesty. Yeah, I'd probably just play this plus and then pass. This is the type of deck where I really feel like I'm like sort of designed for, I suppose. Could Supreme Verdict here. Wouldn't be terrible. Pretty easy decision here. We just basically discard the Jace, Wielder of Mysteries because it's not really doing anything in my hand. Can't even cast it. That's a pretty good draw. I don't think my opponent's going to be able to come back from this one. Alright, so in this matchup, I'm pretty sure I just bring in the Magma Sprays. It looks like they're playing some sort of creature deck. Probably afford to cut a Narset. And I think pretty much every time I'm going to cut Jace, just because it's not exactly like where I want to be. I think Jace can pretty much come out of the 75 if I'm being honest. Suppose Narset's not terrible, but as a 4 of, I don't know. It's not like my opponent is really going to be drawing that many cards, I don't think. But we'll see. I mean, like I said, this is kind of like the deck that I kind of like ideally see what I built being sort of geared against, if that makes sense. So I expect to beat any creature deck that's not, you know, Blue-Red Phoenix or whatever the case is, you know, which has a lot more recursion than your average creature deck. But anything that's just like play my dudes and swing at you, I think I should have a pretty favorable matchup against. I mean, my deck is literally all answers for the most part, leading up to the Sundering. But Karn's Temporal Sundering is just a card that I have been wanting to play for a very long time. When Nexus of Fate was still legal in Pioneer, it was obviously very, very good. And I've always wanted to kind of replicate that with a deck that's kind of doing the same thing or functioning on a similar axis. Yeah, I think we can keep this. We don't get the turn 1 Grazer, but I do think maybe I'm playing a little bit too many tap lands, but who knows? Yeah, sure. I think they just take the Consider here. Given that I already have 2 Teferis in my hand. Oh, they took a Teferi. Okay. Wonder if that means they have another, like Duress or something. A forest. Oh. Play this first. Put this into play. Play the Glacial Fortress untapped and then pass. And we're basically going to make sure that we hit all of our land drops. There's a battlefield or attack. Exile the 1 target. Okay. What does this flip into a 4/4? So I pretty much have to Deafening Clarion next turn. Nope. Put that on top. And then we're looking for another land so we can play our Teferi. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. We have to keep in mind that they can probably queue up into the Bugbear next turn. Now this is an interesting one. So like, do you keep the Fires of Invention on top, or do you just put it in the graveyard and hope to draw a land? I think I have to keep it on top. It's gonna feel really bad if I don't draw a land. Okay, good. We're fine. Never didn't have it. I wonder if Omnath would be good in a deck like this. You know? Like my other Fires of Invention deck. Like I wonder if Omnath would just be like the shit in that deck. Okay, so they're gonna make us discard Archharn's Temporal Sundering, which sucks, but it's whatever. Okay. Well. Alright, in top deck mode. Not quite. Oh, they're opting not to queue up the Den of the Bugbears. They must have a good 5-drop, because otherwise... Okay, Glorybringer. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, no. Alright, well, I don't want to put Yorion in my hand. Not yet, anyway. Because there's no value in playing it, and I don't know. If it gets down to that, but I would like to get some value out of it first. That's fine, actually. I don't really care about that. I think Fae of Wishes would be the best draw here. Yep. That's not Fae of Wishes. That might have been my worst draw. Alright, we're getting into the area of the game where may have to just end up casting the Yorion. 7-8 damage. Ugh. Alright, so let's cycle this. Okay. Good draw. Cast it off of Fires of Invention. Minus on the Glorybringer. Do what our deck does. Put this into play. Cast it. Exile the Teferi so we can get our loyalty counters back, and then pass the turn back. Alright. Let me stabilize. Could minus on that, but I'm just gonna plus. That's a pretty good draw. Do I want to swing here? Wouldn't necessarily lose my Teferi. Yeah. Next turn, they're going to draw their Glorybringer. Let's put our league record up, because currently we are 0-1 but we should win this match and improve to 1-1. Cool. Alright, opponent's gonna attack our Teferi, put him down to 1. Assuming. Yep. This is something that I knew was, you know, a possibility or whatever when I attacked with the Orion to bring myself up to 11, but I really didn't care overall. Okay, we're gonna plus here. Cast this. Play Castle Ardenvale. Cycle this. Yikes. Okay. Let's go. Matter either way, right? We're missing a little bit, but if we hit a Fae of Wishes, we're in really good shape. Alright, here comes Glorybringer. Nice little synergy built into this deck. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I was gonna say that's lights out right there. Very nice. Well, the deck definitely looked good there. Definitely looks like it still has some legs. Fire of Invention and Fae of Wishes continues to be an incredibly good combo. So, yeah, that's promising at least. Yeah, this hand's a little slow, but it's certainly keepable. Okay. Neonate, huh? Discarded a Needleverge Pathway. It's like Dredgeless Dredge or something? Unfortunately, I am gonna have to pitch that one. We do want to keep hitting land drops, of course. Yeah, we'll just draw. An island and attempt to resolve Narset. Opponent is Mending Faithfully. Narset seems to be in a good place in the metagame. It did pitch a GPG, which in my experience means that they have a refurbish in their hand. The only reason why I know this is because this was a standard deck for a while. Yeah. Weird that I know that, huh? Okay, so they got a GPG in play. Ancient Apparition, Exile, search for his content, and then hit Narset. That's pretty good. Could get an Elspeth Conquers Death, but it's a little slow. Play this. Could also get apart the Water Veil. I like the Elspeth Conquers Death because it gets rid of the God Pharaoh's Gift. But we're gonna eat some damage, fortunately. That line is a little rough. Could also get Inspired Ultimatum. I don't hate that. Gain some life, draw 5 cards. Just get the Elspeth Conquers Death, then pass. As long as they keep having like an endless supply of creatures, it's going to be tough to beat this, you know. I mean, drawing a Fires of Invention would be really good. Yikes. I obviously could kill both of these and get a 2/2 creature out. They're gonna get 2 creatures back next turn. Could also play the Gideon plus and play Fae of Wishes. Yeah, I mean, my big out here is drawing like Fires of Invention. Let's see what we can do. We'll try to stabilize as best we can. As far as sideboard cards go in this matchup, I think we just bring in like Mystical Dispute. Oh, yikes. Yeah, they're playing the full, like, full ensemble Angel of Invention, Skyclave Apparition again. I think that's just game, right? 4-8. 5-10, yeah, that's just... Yeah, there wasn't no way we were coming back from that one. Okay, so we'll just bring in Mystical Disputes. Clarions are like pretty bad in this matchup, like basically a dead card. So we do that. And then Magma Spray could be decent. But I'm not quite sure. Cutting Jace. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. I don't think Magma Spray is like particularly good or anything like that. We'll keep this one. Got a Growth Spiral in it. It's got some lands. A little slow, but playable. The good thing about playing against this deck is counter magic is pretty easy to hit them with. Thanks. Because it's quite obvious what their game plan is. They want to discard cards. They want to basically reanimate the God Pharaoh's Gift. It's really not a secret what they're trying to do. Now I really need to hit an untapped land next turn so I can play Narset. Okay, good. I think Omen of the Sea. We do need to keep hitting land drops. That's what I was a little afraid of. And we'll go bottom top. Play this and pass. Let's just go top. So they opted not to counter the Fires of Invention, which is very interesting. They might... Okay, I was gonna say they might have a bounce spell, but who knows, right? They pitched to Refurbish. Means they probably have another one in hand. They're just looking for the God Pharaoh's Gift now. Still think we're in a really good spot here. All right, next term's gonna be lit. Yep. And at this rate, I don't really think that they can win. I could be wrong. We'll just bounce the Omen of the Sea for now. Okay. Gonna say. It's gonna be pretty hard for them to come back from that. Alright, so I mean, pretty much went how I wanted it to go. I don't really see any reason to change anything post board. Like on the draw. I think the matchup pretty much remains the same. Yeah, I mean, keep this. Play the Glacial Fortress tapped. I don't know how I feel about this configuration of the deck, but this is showing me that Fires of Invention is still perfectly viable. Bottom. I do think I counter this just because I can't counter a refurbish the next turn. So, but just worth countering, honestly. Play that and then pass the turn back. And if they, yeah, I was gonna say if they cast an instant speed spell at that point, I don't really care. Don't want to get another blue source. I think the growth spiral, honestly. Oh, did I just screw myself? Yeah, I kind of did. Whoops. My opponent's doing a lot of nothing right now. Do we just play Gideon? That land can't hurt me anymore. Sure. So they're just gonna take Gideon. That's fine, honestly. Okay. Guess we just put Yori on our hand, right? Oh, you know what? They could GPG me next turn, I suppose. But it really wouldn't matter too much if they did or not. Now this might matter. The fact that they didn't have Faithful Mending. Probably should have waited on that Yorion. Okay, good. Didn't have the combo. Interesting. One of the shocks. Alright, let's draw some cards. Let's go bottom top. Top. And we should have a really good turn next turn. A lot of Dovin's vetoes. We have 4, 8, 9, 10 mana. We could hypothetically go 4. Get like Elspeth Conquers Death, or we could get Part the Water Veil. The problem is I don't trust that they're out of counter spells yet. Let's test the waters with this. Do this first. Okay. Do I think I'm going to be able to counter anything with this? Not really. Is it worth keeping it up? Probably. Okay. 4, 6. This is looking like it's gonna resolve whatever it is, so I think I'm just gonna part the water veil here. I want to scry on upkeep. Nah. Could exile all their Godfarer's gifts. Alright, let's put him on a clock. Yeah. How many Karn Temporal Sunrings have we been through? Only 2, huh? Not in terrible shape. No and yes. All right. Suppose we could have just returned the Fae of Wishes. That was probably a mistake. Could be in trouble. Okay. Yeah, opponent was having a hard time finding their combo piece, which is always going to be one of the issues with playing like a 2-card combo deck, like a deck that really needs its cards to go off. I mean, you saw like game 1 how ridiculous Godfarrow's Gift and Refurbish are, but like if you don't get those cards, then you're just playing a deck that's trying to resolve a 7-mana artifact in a fair game, and it's just it's extremely difficult to do. So I don't know if I can get behind the whole Godfarrow's Gift plan. Definitely seems sweet with the new cards, though. I liked the addition of the new cards. I think it was pretty neat. I'm getting my, I guess, like starting to. Well, that's not helping at all. I was gonna see if maybe my light was gonna fix my shirt, like looking all crazy, but I suppose there's like worse things in the world, right? But yeah, 2-1. It'd be interesting to see if we could 4-1 this league. But overall, I think that like Narset, I think should be a 4 of. It seems very good right now. Oath of Teferi, probably not so much. Drawn from Dreams, we could probably just go ahead and take out. There's that one new card. Is that new card? Yeah, Memory Deluge. That card seems pretty good. I think Shark Typhoon was kind of a last minute ad for this deck. Oath of Teferi is absurd if you are able to resolve it. It's kind of a win more card, but like that card can be absolutely absurd. Not quite there. Not quite. Better. Keep, and then either the Force or the Fabled Passage. I think it's just the Fabled Passage in all honesty. Another blue-red deck. Interesting. Whoa. Wonder what this is. I'm very curious now. Seems cool. Is it the there is that one creature that returns an enchantment from your graveyard and it attaches it to them. It's not new anymore, but it's from like the newish Nykthos set or whatever, or Theros. Sorry, not Nykthos. Nykthos is from Theros. Okay. Let's go Omen of of the sea, bottom, top, draw. Play the breeding pool. Play Narset. We'll get the Karn's Temporal Sundering. I'm interested to see how they cheat Colossification into play. What did they put in their hand? They put Radical Idea. They put Storm Herald into their hand. So it is Storm Herald. That's the card I was suspecting. But have enchanted creature. There's Deafening Clarion, but they're gonna get the Storm Herald back. So we'll just grab Tameo here. Unironically, what I was looking for. Now, if we could just get a land next turn, we'd be in pretty good shape. I'm probably not going to fetch for that reason. We are playing 32. We have 27 lands in our 66 card deck. Or are we playing 34? We have a 50% chance, a little less than a 50% chance to draw land, so it's not highly likely or anything. Keep in mind, opponent knows about one Temporal Sundering. Ooh. Okay. Oh, I actually don't even have a way to get it because I don't have a mountain in this deck. That makes things very interesting for sure. right. There's Storm Herald. Oh, so they... Okay, I see. So they return... Gotcha. And then with the trigger on the stack, they just sacrifice it. Okay. Yep. That makes sense. Okay. Okay. Neat. We'll bring the magma sprays. We can probably bring in mystical disputes as well. Deafening Clarion isn't necessarily where I want to be. And probably afford to cut these two as well. We'll cut all the Deafening Clarions. I like it. Pioneer is super cool, honestly. Like, I enjoy playing Pioneer. It doesn't feel as, like, polarizing as Modern, you know. It seems like it's very, balanced. Like, fair decks are fair and good, you know. They're not totally out of the metagame. And you know, combo decks are not absurdly powerful, right? Now, obviously, we haven't played against, like, a Jeskai Ascendancy or anything. But, you know, the format just seems fun, in all honesty. We'll keep this. I do think that maybe I'm playing too many Triomes. I don't think it matters that much. And maybe I'm playing the right amount. I mean, I haven't been strapped for a color at all, really. But it does feel as though we aren't, like, able to play these Arboreal Grazers on turn 1 like we want to. Oh, they're playing Ox of Agonis. Okay. So we play the Arboreal Grazer, we put Rogran Triome into play, then we play Breeding Pool untapped, and we can consider. Is there a way we can... I don't think there's a way we can Growth Spiral plus Arboreal Grazer this turn, right? That's exactly what I wanted. They're probably going to go ahead and crack their Cinder Vines, I would assume. They don't. They're crazy. All right, let's see what our opponent's got. They clearly have some interaction. Very interesting deck either way. I did suspect it was the Herald, because, you know, we've seen that deck in Modern with the Eldrazi Annihilator enchantment. But I didn't know about the new enchantment that made it a 2020. It's very interesting and fun. Test of Talents is also interesting. Yep. What I thought was gonna happen. Yep. Yeah, I could see how this deck would be better with like Otherworldly Gaze too. There's obviously a newer card. I do like the inclusion of Growth Spiral in this deck. I think it's pretty dope. And that might be something that I run in the other deck as well. Because just the ability to ramp makes it a lot better. Although we aren't playing green in my Jeskai Fires list. Forgot about this. It's pretty neat with a Narset, obviously. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth playing green for. No. This one. I'm thinking an Ox here. Is that what they're doing? So they put Botanical Sanctum into their hand. Fires of Invention is a good draw. We want to keep hitting land draws or land drops. We want to keep hitting, you know, relevant spells or whatever. We'll see. All right, so they're gonna get nothing basically, right? It's no cards in their hand. Could play Fae of Wishes, Urza's Ruinous Blast. Also just do Unmoored Ego. We're gonna draw naturally lands anyway. So yeah, see. I know I have this because it's a fairy and it's banned, but let me see. I guess spell in the hand, exiles it, then exiles cards inventory. Yeah. Just do another part of the Water Veil, honestly. Or should I say take another turn? I don't know how I feel about that as opposed to Unmoored Ego. Exiling Storm Herald. Kind of like the Unmoored Ego plan. Storm Herald. Do they have any other way to win? Outside of Ox? Guess they could just hard cast Colossification. And then I think we just just swing here, I think. We're gonna take 6 damage, but Should be okay. We go top. Top. And just put part of the water bill here. Okay. All right. Maybe we'll play a copy of Clarion for the Ox. Nah. Run it back. I don't think we're winning that way. We'll keep it. I mean, we are obviously missing green, but we have an Omen of the Sea. So if we draw a green source, great. Breeding Pool would be an amazing draw. Well, they hit 2 Colossifications. That's what they want. Uh-oh. But Stomping Ground, and they put Bark Channel Pathway in their hand. Alright. Well, I don't have any way to stop this, so they got it, they got it. And we'll see if they actually go for it. You know, sometimes they don't, sometimes they don't go for it. Especially in open mana. Okay. Missed again with Gather the Pack. Breeding Pool is good, but outside of that, I need Breeding Pool is good. Outside of that, I need a red source. We'll see what we're working with here in a second. All right, we need a red source, like ASAP. We hit a red source, we can magma spray their thing. And we win, basically. No, we lose. That's unfortunate. I basically lost my bad mana base there for sure. Because we definitely had the win. Because basically they put the enchantments on the stack. And then you just hit the herald with them. But that's okay. Yep, this is a keeper. I'm actually surprised to not see as many companions in Pioneer. Definitely expected to see more companions. Okay, I think this is Phoenix. Yep, it is. Alright, what you got? We did our thing. The cool thing is, Arclight Phoenix is, like, surprisingly fair. Right, like, it's basically a fair deck. Doing fair things, essentially. What are you doing, Bubba? What are you doing? You can go and get Elspeth Conquers Death. It's not terrible. I don't like that plan. I think I'm just gonna get Yorion this turn. Cast the Yorion. Oh shit. We fucked up. I fucked up, I should say. I'll just cast Fae of Wishes here. That is unfortunate. But that does not come back to bite me. Yep. Hey, Bubba. Okay, that's good. All right. You sideboard. Honestly, they're pretty fucked. Our opponent's seen enough. So we bring in the Mystical Disputes, we bring in the Magma Sprays, we cut the bad cards, and then we run it back. That's pretty dope, though. What you doing, Bubba? Huh? Oh, kitty cat boy. What you doing? What you doing, baby boy? Aww. Aww. Hey, my little buddy. Hey, daddy's little boy. Not really little, but he's daddy's boy. Hey, daddy's boy. Daddy's boy. Alright. That's enough of that cute cat. Not very exciting right now, but it does have all the makings to be a decent hand. Should we draw non-land spells? Yep. Stop. Trying to bite my leg. Hey, quit. Cat biting me. Yeah, not having that mountain definitely hurts a little bit. What, buddy? We could go and get apart the water veil here. Wouldn't be terrible. Elspeth conquers death. Not really that great, honestly. Taking advantage of the fact that my opponent's unfortunately missing on land drops. Yeah, okay, we did it. We beat the best deck in the metagame. Yeah, so we went 3-2. Not bad, not bad. Definitely better than I expected with just the trial run of this deck. I certainly think this deck has merits. One thing I am going to change before anything, just so we are firing on all cylinders here. I want to get a mountain in this deck. I'm gonna get a basic mountain in this deck, and probably another red source. I'm just trying to think of like which one. Maybe a Spire Bluff Canal or something. Do we have a steam vents in here? We do not. So let's just steam vents. Steam vents, quantity 0. Add a steam vents. We don't need Jace or Tameo anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and cut those because they were like our worst performing cards by a large margin. Um. Buddy, what? All right, so I'm trying to think of like what other cards I could play. Definitely want to cut the Possibility Storm in the board. Memory Deluge is not bad. It's just a little slow, that's all. I could see running another Supreme Verdict. Chandra is not bad either, in all honesty. Was it Chandra Torch of Defiance? Actually shocked that I remember the name of a card. And then we just run like another Supreme Verdict. And as far as the sideboard goes, trying to think of like a card that I needed during those times. I probably should have been thinking of that while I was playing. We lost a blue red, and we lost to like that weird combo deck. But the blue red deck we lost to wasn't exactly what I was expecting it was. I have to go back and see which deck it was, but just trying to think of like what would be. Slaughter Games was a card that I was playing over Unmoored Ego. But yeah, so I'm trying to think. Damping Sphere is not terrible. Oh, Catcher's Last Mercy was pretty funny. As like a reset. Alright, so I like Slaughter Games. Over Unmoored Ego. And as far as like other spells go, could just have another take another turn basically. There's this one which you can foretell. There's Temporal Trespass, which is interesting. I mean, because we would be taking an extra turn after we took the extra turn through Part the Waterville, so Emrakul could be neat actually. But we probably won't have the lands to make it work. Because like we're not casting it off of fires, obviously. So we'd have to hard cast this. Let's say we have like 7 lands. That's probably not happening. What is Oath of Teferi? That's one that I played in the main deck, my other one. So like you exile. You could exile Yorion. You could exile Fires of Invention. Basically just activate your planeswalkers a couple more times. It's not terrible. I don't know. There's a few different routes you can go about it. What were some of the other sideboard cards I was running in this deck? I changed them around a little bit every now and then. I know Damping Sphere was one I was pretty adamant about, just simply based off of like the combo decks that were running around, which still might be worth playing, in all honesty. Yeah, I'll play a Damping Sphere. I haven't played against Jeskai Ascendancy yet, but I gotta imagine that's a pretty bad matchup for me. Those decks typically go pretty fast. They'd usually go right underneath me, and I have too many dead cards in the main board to really like stop those decks. Unironically, Gideon of the Trials is like my best card in those matchups because you just ultimate it and you can't lose, so they have to deal with Gideon first and it slows them down. So it's kind of like a way to win there. Yeah, I like this configuration of the deck. I think I'll probably roll with this for the next event that I play in. But that is going to wrap things up for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I saw a bunch of people jumped on, jumped off, that sort of thing. I am still working on like sort of not rebranding, but like refocusing like my content. The holiday break definitely got me thinking about like, what direction that I'm going and stuff as a streamer. I am talking about like some partnerships with some people. Trying to get that going. It is a process for sure, but rest assured that I am working on some new things, especially in terms of content. The last thing I want to do is get stale on the content that I'm making. So definitely working that on my end. I am going to start doing some Halo Infinite streams. I'm probably going to do that on Friday. We're going to go back to the 5-day-a-week schedule that I had in place. So that'll be done next week. And I want to release a YouTube video this weekend talking about I kind of hit on this at the beginning of the stream, but I want to talk about the Daybreak acquisition of Magic Online. I don't think many players are old enough to really know who Daybreak is as a company. But it is one that I won't sugarcoat it. It's one that I absolutely despise. And they are now partnering with Wizards of the Coast and essentially taking over the production of Magic Online. Not touching Arena, obviously. Again, I don't really think a lot of players quite understand the implications of that. And I don't think a lot of people know who Daybreak Games is. So I can't fault people for not understanding where I'm coming from on this, but essentially they are a company. They used to be called what is it? Oh god, their old name. Anyway, they used to be called something else. What Daybreak Games is essentially a investment firm. They purchase old or dying games such as EverQuest or Lord of the Rings Online, or whatever games are kind of on their way out, so to speak, and then they sort of ride out that game's success and that game's loyal fan base eternally for like as long as they can. Now, Daybreak, it's a very multi-layered and complicated issue because Daybreak has a bunch of small teams. Because keep in mind, Daybreak is an investment company. They literally purchase the rights to dying games. So they don't actually make games and they don't actually really have anything to do with games outside of that. So they outsource everything that they do. So, for example, somebody linked me, all the new stuff that they added in Lord of the Rings Online. The team that handles Lord of the Rings Online is a separate team. They fall under Daybreak Games, but they are not. They're called like Standing Stone, I think. So they're a team under Daybreak Games. So apparently they've been doing great work, which was a newsflash to me, and it's good learning experience, because while Standing Stone might be doing great things for Lord of the Rings Online, Dark Paw Games is doing horrible stuff with EverQuest. And don't even get me started on EverQuest and what a atrocity that game has become. But anyway, I want to make a video talking about all that stuff, because as you can like kind of hear, I am pretty well informed when it comes to Daybreak Games. I have a very long history with them, and quite possibly the most unforgiving thing or unforgivable thing that they ever did was EverQuest Next, which I really want to talk about in that video. So if you want to hear all about the company that's going to be taking over Magic the Gathering Online, you will definitely want to catch that video. I plan on releasing it Saturday or Sunday, so be on the lookout for that. I'll post it all over my Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's going to be it for tonight. Join me tomorrow. We're going to be playing more Pioneer, maybe taking some more turns, maybe just playing the traditional Super Friends list. We'll have to see. But thank you guys so much, and yeah, have a great night, guys.